And then before I knew it, I was walking along in between Gustav and Kristian. We were just chatting away, and
every year that I've raced it, it's been an entirely different way that the race panned out.
Hi everyone, and welcome to my 70.3 Oceanside Race Week series. This includes encounters with multiple Ironman World Champions, my recap on a race that I certainly was not expecting, my zero carb nutrition strategy and execution, of course, and a special moment where I encountered the Pro Men's winner, and I think I might have got a little bit of an inside scoop. So 2 days before the race, I drove from Oro Valley for 6 hours to Oceanside on the Californian coast, and on the way I stopped at a place called Rick's Kitchen in Yuma, and I must give them a big shout out for being so accommodating with regards to my low carb lifestyle. They were more than happy to cook my bacon and eggs in butter rather than any horrible vegetable oils or whatever. So if you're ever in the area, highly recommend Rick's Kitchen in Yuma. When I got to Oceanside, I headed to the athlete check-in area, and that was right next to Oceanside Pier, which is in an absolutely stunning location. One of the things that I'd forgotten when I arrived was that from my racing in 2024, I managed to finish in the top 7% of my age group globally, apparently, and this gets me this thing called silver status for the Ironman All-World Athlete Programme. You get a couple of benefits with this, one of which is you get priority queuing when you go to the check-in area, which doesn't really make any difference when there's nobody else in the queue when you arrive. But the other thing is that you get bike racking preferences, so that you don't have to run as far with your bike and so on in transition. So, and it was a huge transition zone, as you'll see in one of the future videos. I appreciate you might know this, but when you check in, you get given a wristband, and it's really important you keep that on for the few days that you're at the event, because that serves as like your ticket to check your bike in, or on race morning to get you back into the transition zone. You'll get your swim cap as you would do at other triathlons, and some stickers for like your bike helmet, your bike, and your gear bags and so on. You also get some additional swag, so this time round we got a t-shirt ahead of the race, a nice techie top, and you also get a cool little backpack, which is really neat. And usually at these races I'll go and buy like a cap specific for the race because I like collecting these, but I didn't really like the ones that they had in the Ironman Village. So I thought, well, hang on a minute, if we've been given a t-shirt before the race, maybe we'll get a cap at the end of the race. And actually that's exactly what happened, and the cap's really good, I really like it, so that was lucky. And it was at the Ironman Village that the pro spotting began. So I saw Lionel Sanders chatting to one of the participants with a few people around him, but he's so gracious with his time. In fact, I've still to meet a professional triathlete who isn't. It's such a great community spirit in the world of triathlon, where you get to race on the same course on the same day at almost exactly the same time as the professionals. It's something quite magnificent. So here we are on Oceanside Pier. Got here a couple of hours ago. This is Thursday evening, and the race is on Saturday morning. I've just been to check in, got my wristband, swim cap, got my backpack. Just show you a little look at the backpack here. There we go, that's the Oceanside 70.3 backpack. And behind me you can maybe just see the Ironman Village there. So I've been in there, had a look around, didn't find anything suitable. T-shirts all sold out at my size already, unfortunately, but never mind. I'll give you a little look at the Oceanside Pier here. It's behind, there we are. Yeah, and the sun's about to set, so I think I'll stay here and watch that for a little bit, and then I'm going to head off and have a really nice steak, I reckon, in a steak and seafood restaurant just across the road. Onto the day before the race, and in the morning I went across to the athlete briefing, which is at the Ironman Village. And I have to say that if you go to one of these briefings, it's nothing more than reading through the athlete guide, really. You're not really getting told much more than what's in there. There is an opportunity to ask questions at the end, and sometimes you get a good answer to those questions, but I have to say that the people giving the briefing, they don't know everything, and that's not their fault. So if you've got any particular concerns or questions, then I would say try and track down one of the official race organisers, and I'm sure you'll get an answer better that way. And then when I arrived at the hotel where the Pro Panel was being held, I saw Patrick Lange in the foyer and ended up having a really good little chat with him. A very gracious man, and he was very sincere. You really felt like you were having a proper conversation with him, and that he wasn't just paying lip service to someone that he'd never met before. But we had a good chat. We talked a little bit about last year when he really struggled on the swim. Yeah, it was great. He was kind enough to do a photograph as well, so that was fantastic. And then just before I went in, I saw Jackie Herring sitting on a chair. And I thought maybe I'll ask her for a photo as well. And when I went up to her, I noticed that the guy sitting next to her was actually Kristian Blummenfelt. So I thought, why not? So they were happy to oblige, and I ended up getting a really cool photo of them. So that was great. On the Pro Panel, going from left to right, then we've got Danielle Lewis, who was 4th in the Ironman Pro Series last year. Next to her, we've got Jackie Herring, and Jackie was 2nd in the Pro Series last year. Then there's Paula Finlay, and Paula's done this race multiple times in the past, and she's won it more than once from what I remember. And then next to her is Tamara Jewett, who won it, I think she won it 2 years ago. She had an amazing race that day. And then onto the men, Lionel Sanders, again, multiple time participant here, and he's won it more than once before. Then we've got Patrick Lange, Ironman world champion, triple world champion, and won it again last year in Kona. And then the 2 Norwegians, of course, Kristian Blummenfelt and Gustav, Iden, both of whom are not only Ironman world champions, but 70.3 world champions as well. And let's hear what Lionel had to say the day before the race when he was asked what it might take to win the race, especially since he did actually go on to win.
Every year that I've raced it, it's been an entirely different way that the race panned out. So this year, how do I see it panning out? I mean, this is probably maybe the strongest overall field I've ever raced in here. There's a lot of motivated guys on the bike. There's a lot of guys who definitely don't want to come off the bike with Kristian and Gustav. So I think the whole dynamic is going to behave a lot differently as opposed to last year. There really wasn't too many people, let's say, enforcing at the front of the bike on the bike. So I think you're going to have to, if you can't swim, you're going to have to push a lot of power on the bike, 400 watts probably, for an indefinite period of time. And then you're going to have to attack these guys as best as you can, and then you're going to have to hope that they can't run very fast.
There was one more really special experience before the end of the day, and that was when I went to the transition zone to check my bike in, and Kristian Blummenfelt and Gustav Iden were also there at the same time with Talbot Cox, who films most of Lionel Sanders' YouTube videos. And so I kind of timed it such that I walked back out the transition zone at the same time as them, and made a little introduction to Talbot by thanking him for the work he did with Lionel, and he was very appreciative. And then before I knew it, I was walking along in between Gustav and Kristian. We were just chatting away, and they were talking in particular about the water temperature of the sea. And at the pro meeting in the morning, there had been discussion around whether or not the swim might be cancelled before the race, which was very interesting. Anyway, we kept walking and chatting, and quite informal. They're really nice guys, and it gets to the point where I was thinking, well, do you just walk away and be thankful for the experience, or do you take the opportunity to get a permanent memory, like a photograph? And I don't have a photograph with the 2 of these guys, so I did ask them, and Talbot actually took the photo, which was brilliant. So yeah, anyway, after that, just said goodbye to them, went out for a really nice evening meal, some shrimp and some steak and eggs, and then it was getting ready for race morning the following morning.